Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. And we are here for the work session for the Board of County Commissioners of Larimer County. Today is January 26, 2026. And we are here in our conference room, again, as I said, for a work session with Leslie Alice, our Director of Community Planning, Infrastructure, and Resources. I'm Chair Larimer County Commissioner Joey Shad-McNally. Thank you for joining us. I'm joined by my colleagues, Larimer County Commissioner Kristen Stevens and Larimer County Commissioner John Kafalis. We're also joined by our County Manager, Loren DeVolker, and our Assistant County Manager, Lori Kadrich, is in the audience. We have lots of other folks here at the table. So I'm just going to let Leslie Ellis, our CPIR Director, introduce who else is joining us. And I'll let you take it away. It seems like we have just a moderate to light agenda today. So thank you all and happy Monday.
Okay, great. Thank you. Good afternoon, Commissioners, and happy Monday to you as well. We do have a relatively light agenda today, just one main item, but we do have a number of other smaller updates after that as well. But I'll introduce the team sitting to my left here, who will talk about the data center topic and what's happening with that. So Rebecca Everett, of course, you know, and Jenny Axmaker and Frank Haug are here. And then I don't know that we have others who will pull in, so I think this is the whole group here that can discuss that topic with you, and I'll pass it on to you, Rebecca. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Rebecca Everett, Community Development Director. As we discussed in our last CPIR work session, when we talked about the Community Development Department work plan for the year, one of the projects that we have on our work plan for this year is exploring regulations for data center facilities. We wanted to, based on that conversation with you all, follow up with some additional conversation and let you know that there is an item on your Admin Matters agenda for tomorrow that is a proposal for a 30-day moratorium on data center facilities. So a little bit of context. Data centers are an emerging land use. Technically, data centers have been around in some form for many decades, but the hyperscale data centers, in particular, that support artificial intelligence and other tech computing functions, have really become an emerging land use that has different impacts and different benefits than data centers of the past have. It is not the type of land use that is really well addressed by our land use code in Larimer County or land use codes across the state and the country. So many communities are also having similar conversations about how to best prepare for, regulate, and consider the impacts and benefits of these data center facilities. We need time to evaluate what those other communities may be looking at. Are there best practices emerging? Are there model codes? Are there unique considerations for Larimer County and our resources and community needs that should be taken into consideration? So on your Admin Matters agenda tomorrow is the proposal for a 30-day moratorium. That is intended to be a bridge until the February 9th land use hearing, where we will be proposing a 6-month moratorium that extends that initial 30-day moratorium. And the benefit of doing it that way is it provides a stopgap until that hearing for now, and then the hearing would include full public notice and an opportunity for public comment for you to consider before you make a decision on whether to approve a longer moratorium. So we're here today to answer any questions you may have, any concerns you may have about the proposed 30-day moratorium that's on your agenda tomorrow, and any other questions or considerations that may come up.
Okay, thank you. I see both my colleagues both have questions, and I do too, so I'll start with Commissioner Stevens.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, thank you. When you first said 30 days, I was like, that doesn't sound like enough time. And then you followed up with the 6 months. Do you feel like that's enough time, though, to adequately research and come up with some policies that will work in the community?
We're optimistic that will be enough time. We do already have a graduate student with University of Colorado, Denver, conducting some initial research for us, looking at options. We feel prepared to start working on this right away. If we do need more time, there is the option to request extensions to the moratorium, which would go back to a hearing. So at our attorney's advice as well, we feel like a 6-month moratorium is reasonable to start with. And then if we demonstrate that more time is needed, we can bring that back to you for consideration.
And I think I asked this before, but do you anticipate preemptions at the state level? Oh, well, yep. Do you anticipate preemptions at the state level in this legislative session that would change what kind of regulations we could have? Because I know that there's a lot of talk at the state level around what's happening with them. Just curious of what kind of buzz you're hearing around that.
Yeah, we're monitoring the proposed legislation that's out there right now. At this point, I haven't seen anything that specifically includes preemption at the state level, but that's something that we're very sensitive to and monitoring for. And it looks like Leslie may have some more to add to that response as well.
Yeah, and you may be hearing this through CCI as well, but the bills that are being introduced either have to do with incentivizing data centers on the one hand, or putting in requirements for comparable or matching renewable energy and water offsets due to the potential impacts of them. I have not seen nor heard in any of the information so far anything about preemption.
Well, that's good. Yeah. So, so really, we can make any kind of regulations that we feel like we need in our community and tie those to kind of water availability or any kind of environmental concerns that we have.
Yeah, certainly as we're exploring regulations, we'd be working with our attorney's office to make sure that we're staying within whatever bounds are established for us. But this would be different than, say, 1041 regulations that have state statutory boundaries around them already. We would intend to develop regulations that are specifically customized to our needs in Larimer County. And as far as I'm aware, there's not a lot of boundaries that have been drawn around that yet, but I'll see if Frank has anything that he might want to add on that topic.
No, though, well, the two things I would add is, one is it's not under the 1041 regulations, and so you can't regulate it under 1041. Two, there's a statute which limits the moratoriums to 6 months, so we have to do, the most we can do is 6 months, and then we can come back and do another round if we wanted. But the reason for the 6 months is because there's a statute that allows us to do this for up to 6 months.
And I'll comment, I did have some news about the two competing bills and where they're at. So Commissioner Kafalis.
Thank you. Thank you, colleagues. Given that this matter of hyper data centers is quite the emerging issue, and that there are two bills that either have been introduced or will be introduced, I think tomorrow this item is on the consent agenda. What do you think about pulling it off of the consent agenda for discussion purposes only, as we did with an item last week, because this is such an important issue?
That's certainly at your discretion as a board. If you would like to have discussion of it at admin matters, we can certainly be prepared to support that. So it's really up to you all.
And Matt,
Yes, sir.
yeah, and I think it won't be as involved a conversation as we had last week, but I would like to respectfully recommend that we pull this item off consent for discussion purposes only, not to vote on this separately, so that you, Rebecca, can come and just share with perhaps a broader audience what the intent is behind a 30-day and beyond that. Thank you. That's my recommendation.
And then one comment is that Frank Haug from the Attorney's Office, is that we treat this almost like a code change, and that's why we'll put it in the newspaper, we'll advertise that we're going to do it. When we come back on, I think it's February 9th is when they're going to have the hearing, then they'll have an opportunity for public comment. The way the statute is written, the statute says that you can do it by resolution without a public hearing. But in the past, when we've done this, when we did it with oil and gas, when we did it with some other stuff, that this is consistent with how we've done it in those other instances.
I'm not so sure about pulling it from the consent. I think that if we haven't done that before, we kind of put the moratorium, and then we can have, our hearing is really soon. It's less than 2 weeks, right, or about 2 weeks. So I feel like that might be more of the time we can explain, backward, kind of where we're at, because I think it would be nice to make sure that you have everything you need to explain, and I know we're kind of moving forward on this quickly. I do know the first bill that was introduced, it's already been introduced already, was the first 10 is an industry-sponsored bill looking for over $200 million in incentives, which I'm not sure our state budget can bear. I think that's a big conversation. The other one is trying to offset, but I do know that they've tried to see if the two could come together, but it doesn't seem like that's hasn't been fruitful, those discussions. So I am grateful for this work, and I'm thankful that we're taking these steps, because I do think there are a lot of lessons learned from other local governments, or even not in Colorado, but others around the region who have maybe took steps forward and gave incentives or had some other issues and now are walking those back or dealing with consequences. So I'm hoping we also are looking at lessons learned, and not even here, but other areas around, especially when it comes to the water and how much energy it's taking. I do hear lots of information from local governments that increases some of the energy costs for others, and I'm just concerned about what the impacts on our general community. So I look forward to digging into this and looking at this, and I'm glad that we're given some time for us to make a space, like a little bubble, that we can look at this, dive in, and see how this works for Larimer County, the impacts. And I do know neighboring counties pretty excited about moving forward with things, and so I don't know how that dueling policy direction is, how that's going to look. But I just wanted to, I still think maybe a public discussion might be better, just to have in 2 weeks when you have all the information and I'm ready to explain kind of the full process at the hearing. Thanks. Commissioner Stevens, did you want to add to that?
Yeah, I actually think it's not bad to give some context tomorrow. So, I mean, it doesn't have to be lengthy, like Commissioner Cavales was saying, but I do think that, people hear the word moratorium and I think their ears perk up. And so just kind of explaining that they will have the opportunity for public comment on the 9th and kind of what we're basically doing. I mean, it doesn't have to be lengthy, but I do think that it wouldn't be bad to have, to discuss it just briefly before we vote on it.
May I follow up, please?
Yes, Commissioner Cavales.
Thank you. And just to clarify my request, I did not intend that we should get into a policy discussion tomorrow. I think in the spirit of transparency, even though the hearing will be February 9th, a few weeks away, I think in the spirit of transparency, it's a good idea to at least explain what the purpose of the 30-day resolution moratorium and what the process is, the next steps. That's all.
Okay, thank you. I'm hearing support for moving us to the discussion portion of your agenda for admin matters tomorrow, to provide some brief context and information on the intent, rationale, and process, next steps, what that would look like as a matter of transparency.
So I just want to clarify, because the agenda's out, so are we moving this completely into a discussion item, or we're doing what we did last week and pulling it off and having a discussion and moving it? I'm trying to make sure we understand what we're looking at.
I'll tell you what I heard. Leave it on the consent agenda, that's how it's been advertised. We'll ask for some discussion about this item. Sorry, I thought I had it on. We'll ask for some discussion about this, leave it on the consent agenda. Staff can come up and explain very briefly what you just explained today, and then the commissioners will vote on the consent agenda and choose to remove this to vote separately, but it sounds like not, since it's really more for public information.
Thank you for clarifying.
Yes, that's very helpful clarification. Thank you,
Yeah, I
Lori.
just want to make sure, because I heard something, I heard a discussion item.
Actually, I just thought that I was clear. Well, as we did last week, pulled it off for discussion purposes only, not as a separate item.
Okay.
put it into the discussion item. So I thought I was pretty clear about that. Thank you.
Okay, I think that gives us the clarity, and we will look forward to discussing more tomorrow. And then if the 30-day moratorium is adopted and there is support from the board, then we will also revisit it on February 9th at your land use hearing.
Thank you.
Okay, so I believe the next item is Community Development Director updates. So I'd like to first, as my first update, invite up our new county building official, Mike Williams, and introduce him to all of you and to the community. So we'll get transitioned here. So Mike has joined us from most recently Pinellas Park, Florida, and he started with Larimer County last week, is already jumping in with both feet, and we're excited to have him on board. So I'd like to give him a moment to introduce himself to you all, and Mike, if you want to grab.
Well, I just want to say, first of all, Mike, we made sure that you came from Florida, and you made sure you had minus 10-degree weather, like at my house, so you got acclimated right away to cold weather.
Okay. Well, thank you. Yes, you guys gave me quite the welcome this last week. I was here 2 days before I see my first snow in 12 years. I'm originally from Northwest Ohio, so no stranger to cold weather and snow and things like that. But I'm anxious to get started here and just excited to be here. Not only just for what Larimer County has to offer, but the entire area and region. It just fits into to my lifestyle outside of work. So just very happy to be here and looking forward to helping out.
Great. Well, I'll see, Commissioner Stevens, you wanted to say anything?
Welcome. We're glad you're here. Hopefully you'll enjoy Colorado. I think it's a great place to live, and so hopefully you'll think that as well. And we're just, really happy you're here and happy we found someone with this kind of skill set that you have to be able to, move us forward in Larimer County. So
Thank you. I look forward to it.
Commissioner Gonzalez.
Thank you. Just simply welcome. Thank you for joining the team. Look forward to working with you, getting to know each other better. The work that we do here is really, a lot of it is based on relationships. So looking forward to strengthening our relationship. And it's interesting that you're here today introducing yourself and your predecessor. I had tea with him on Friday just to catch up because I think we hadn't really chatted since he retired back in September, I think. So indeed, welcome, sir.
Well, thank you very much. Like I said, I look forward to getting to know all of you better, and me, and form that great relationship to continue on the work that we're doing here in Larimer County.
Thank you, and I'm looking forward to getting to know you better. And I have to ask, I'm looking at your lanyard, which state, because I was like, I should warn you, you might want to change the colors. So just spotted that right away, sorry.
so,
I have to give you a
we're
little
not
bit-
in Michigan, so
No,
Yeah,
that's
safer.
good. If it was
Yeah,
Michigan,
safer.
I might have to really think that, over, but,
I just had to give you a little bit, because we like to give each other a hard time. Since I have a CSU graduate from grad school and a CU buff, I don't see black or gold, but we'll be okay for a while, so.
yeah. Well, actually, other than just a few classes early on, I didn't have any other affiliation to Ohio State University other than just living there and growing up as a Buckeye. My undergrad is from WVU, and I'm currently at the University of Tennessee working on my master's. So,
Thank you.
yeah.
Lorinda, did you want to add anything?
I'll just say that you're joining a fantastic team. I think you're going to fit right in. There's a lot of excitement about you joining and being part of this group, and we look forward to working with you more.
And forgive me, I just have to give you a little tease. So,
You're fine.
I was
I'm
like,
used to it.
does that say Ohio State? Is what I was thinking, so. Yeah, the Ohio State. All right, thank you, Rebecca.
All right, great. I have a few more items for you. So first, touching base on your land use hearing this afternoon, there will be one change to the agenda. There's one item, the Hansen appeal, that will be tabled at the request of the applicant. Some additional public comment was received over the weekend, and the applicant would like to take some time to work to address those comments. And so that item will be tabled to the March 9th land use hearing. And Jenny will announce that at the beginning of the hearing at 3 o'clock.
So may I ask, as the chair will just go ahead and just remove that and then approve it with that table, then we'll need to specifically mention that date, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Correct.
Commissioner Kafal, you have your hand raised for a question.
Yes. Is it also correct that the only discussion item this afternoon is the discussion about the 2026 Ranch Master Plan?
That is correct. The Ranch Master Plan is the only discussion item on, at the moment. There are several items on consent, so there's always certainly the possibility that one or more consent items may be pulled for discussion, but at this time, as the published agenda, only the Ranch Master Plan on discussion. Yes. Any other questions on the land use hearing? Next, related to planning cases, I wanted to provide a brief update on the Aragon septic appeal that you recently tabled at a land use hearing. The applicant has submitted new information to us. We are currently reviewing that information, and the applicant has requested to get scheduled for a hearing soon. At this point, with our noticing requirements and the time needed to review, the soonest that could be scheduled with you is March 23rd, and that land use hearing. But that will be coming back before you in the near future. We also have been receiving some complaints about that same property and related to air quality, particularly with the high wind events that we've experienced over the last month. And we have been following up to investigate the situation out on that property, working closely with the health department and code compliance to understand if there are violations occurring and how to best address those.
I might ask, since it has been so long and there's new information, I'm assuming we have to publicly notice and contact those who maybe had already commented that there is new information. Is that the process? I just want to be clear. I want to understand that myself.
Yes, that is correct. Because when the septic appeal was tabled previously, it was not tabled to a date certain. We will do full public notice, including mailed notice, newspaper notice, and we will update our email, those who have subscribed to email updates on the project as well.
Right, thank you for
Yes.
clarifying that. Appreciate that.
Yeah. And then my final update today, and Amy White, our co-compliance supervisor, is here in case you have any questions, but another item that is on your admin matters consent agenda tomorrow is the resolution to certify for the 6th time fines on the Jake's Farm property in response to a zoning violation. And at this time, the amount of fines that property owner owes is $148,500. We have received $30,000 in payment on those fines so far, but because there is not progress happening toward compliance on the property, the fines are continuing to accumulate, and we are now at the 6th certification of fines.
I have a quick question. Is the judge in this case, is the court being updated on the accumulating fines?
Yes, we file with the court an update and the court reviews it. I've had multiple conversations with multiple lawyers about this, and it's just a difficult situation.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that update.
That's it for community development updates for today. Thank you.
All right, I have a few, just quick ones for community planning infrastructure and resources, and I'll pick up where Rebecca left off on the ranch master plan for this afternoon. We do anticipate a pretty brief presentation. Connor will be here, Connor McGrath, our ranch director, along with Portia Cook, and Portia will do a 10-minute or less presentation, probably closer to 5 minutes. As you recall, you had a work session with the staff on December 8th, and were presented at that time a draft plan for adoption, and then had an opportunity to provide some additional feedback and changes. So the version that you now have before you reflects that input and those comments. Also, this adoption process is, it's a bit different than some of the other master plans that are part of our comprehensive planning process, because this is a plan for one of our facilities and one of our properties. It doesn't go through the same process that, say, the water master plan went through, where it went to the planning commission previously and then to the board. So you actually do adopt this plan as opposed to having the planning commission adopt it and then having you approve the adoption. So I just wanted to make that a clarification in the process, and we can address that this afternoon too if there are any questions about it, but just for the public's sake and yours as well. So that's, I think, an exciting milestone. Yes, did you?
I have a quick question. I know we're all worried about paper and stuff, but knowing that we're out in the community sharing with others about the amazing progress at the ranch, will we ever get a hard copy once this is adopted, just so we can have it in our, car whenever we're asked questions? I know it's kind of nice to have that in your back pocket as people ask, when I'm around, people are starting to pay attention
Yeah.
more, and I find that I've been trying to pull out all these other printed out things, but I know those aren't current versions, so I just wanted to kind of see about that.
Yeah, I'll bring that up with Connor. I'm not sure what his printing plans are, but I'm sure he plans to do some. And then, of course, it'll be on the webpage and electronically available as well. But I'll ask him about that. So. Okay, and the other item I wanted to share, a couple good news items, and if I can get my computer to display some photos. You may have seen an article in the paper last week about the Poudre River Trail bridge connection. And of course, that's been a long time coming, but the 83-foot bridge on the Poudre River Trail that's between Windsor and Timnath actually got installed last week. And there's a picture of our team at Natural Resources who were there on site. And then, of course, it was quite an operation with the crane and everything to put the bridge in place. And there are just a few images here as it's being placed into place. Now, this will be an active construction site still through the spring, so it's not open yet, but it will be open later this spring. And there are ceremonies and events in the works planned around that, because it's really a long project that now connects 45 miles of trail from Greeley to the foothills, and it's been in the making for decades. So it's a really exciting milestone project, and we're excited to see that piece of it go into place. Yeah.
Is that a picture you could share so we can maybe
Yeah, I could share. I've
post
got
about it? Not that, whoever you want, but and then if there is an opportunity,
There's a few
when
different
it's not so cold and maybe not an inconvenience, it would be nice to come check it out before the big hoopla. And I've always been hearing from some folks. I actually did some interviews with the Board of Commissions, and two different ones actually brought it up and wanted to talk about it. I was like, well, we got to get through our questions first, but they're super excited. They live west of Loveland, so I just wanted to know if we could maybe have that. So thanks.
I'll check with our natural resources staff and get more information about that. So, great. And then similarly, good news items. I think a couple of you are planning to attend the Sheriff's Awards this afternoon, but we do have 2 rangers also from Natural Resources who are getting recognized with medals and life-saving awards. So Steve Gibson and Aubrey Hilt. So we are very excited to recognize their amazing service to the community and the work that they do. So that's happening as well, and hopefully we'll have a chance to get them maybe in front of you so we can have a smaller recognition, because of course we really are very excited for all of the sheriffs and all the rangers who are getting recognized this afternoon, but particularly excited for those 2 in our department. So yeah, and that's really all I had for this afternoon. Thank
I
you.
think that's a great idea. I mean, for what they did save a life. So, I mean, that's really a big, huge thing. So I think it would be wonderful to do that. Thanks for suggesting that. Any questions, colleagues, or anybody? All right. Well,
you.
thank you for the gift of time and for yourselves and for us. And thank you all for some great news to end the day. That was really nice. And at 2:00, we're adjourned. Thank you.